It's time to have a frank and honest conversation about the immigration levels in this country during COVID-19. Over the past few years, the number of new immigrants permitted entry into Canada has skyrocketed, with over 400,000 planned for next year alone, a number that's more than doubled from as recently as 2003. But should we really be increasing immigration at a time when the unemployment rate has soared and the government's balance sheet has fallen off a cliff? Well, most Canadians would say no. In fact, in 2018, before COVID even happened, only 6% of Canadians supported increasing the number of immigrants entering Canada, according to a poll conducted by Angus Reid. And yet, the political class in Ottawa, across the political spectrum, refused to touch the issue, afraid of being called racist for even suggesting that the optimal level of immigrants entering Canada might be lower than the arbitrarily selected peak at which it's currently set. But here's the truth. While there's well-documented upsides and benefits of legal immigration, it's also true that there are costs and consequences of which Canadians are only too well aware. And that's especially true during an economic crisis such as the one we're currently in. For example, when the economy is booming and the labor market is tight, new immigrants to Canada can provide a valuable source of labor that helps fuel our economy. But when the same economy is in crisis and nearly 2 million people are out of work as they are now, an influx of new arrivals simply exacerbates the problem. And then there's the housing market. With tens of thousands of people flooding to cities like Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal each year, demand for new real estate has risen at a faster rate than at which it can be supplied, leading to a dramatic increase in price that have priced many young people who grew up in these very same communities out of their own market. And finally, there's the burden on taxpayers. Calculations show that recent immigrants pay, on average, almost $5,000 a year less in taxes than other Canadians, despite consuming government services at an equal, if not greater rate. This is because the much-touted merit-based point system that Canada uses to adjudicate would-be immigrants only applies to 30% of all new arrivals. The other 70%, to the surprise of many, don't need to meet any merit-based criteria at all. Look, this country, in many ways, was built in part on a robust immigration policy. But it was a policy that was based on solid economic arguments and a defined national interest. A policy that purposefully ebbed and flowed over time based on what the country needed, not one that was increased arbitrarily and in perpetuity by ideological politicians bent on reshaping our society. Canadians are owed an immigration system that is logical, coherent, and that works for them. And that means, like so many things, striking the right balance. But before we can find that perfect medium, we must first be able to have an open and honest debate. For the C2C Journal, my name is Aaron Gunn. Thanks for watching.